Hi, welcome to NicheCraft. My name is Kassi and I'm your host. So today our dish rag stitch is going to be the waffle stitch. And what you're going to need to make this dish rag is a cotton yarn of your choice. It could be any yarn. But if you want to make a dish rag, it's best to make that out of cotton because it doesn't melt when it comes in contact with a lot of heat. Sometimes dish rags will get left on counters and we'll put like pots or pans on top of them to protect the counter. And if it's an acrylic, it'll melt. And of course, if you use wool, then that will felt when it gets wet. So cotton's a really good fabric for dishcloth. So you'll need some cotton. And I'm using a J hook in this, but you could probably get away with using an I hook with a 4-weight yarn. My cotton is 4-weight, or just use the crochet hook that's suggested for the weight that you have. All right, and you'll need some scissors to weave in the ends at the end, or to snip off and weave in the ends at the end. And you'll need to know how to make a chain, how to double crochet, and how to front post double crochet. And I have got a tutorial on all of those already up. So if you don't know any of those, you can either watch closely here and learn to do it here, or you can go back and check out those tutorials, all right? If you're new to the channel, hi and welcome. I'm really glad that you decided to join me. And it would mean a whole lot to me if you decide to subscribe after you see this video. And maybe check out some of my other videos. I do crochet tutorials, but I also do mystery yarn unboxings. I'm doing book reviews, and I'm like adding more and more as I go. This is a relatively new channel at this point. I hope it grows because I'm having a lot of fun with it. And this is just something I'm really passionate about and something that I would just really love to do. So if you could go ahead and subscribe, give me a like, that would be worth so much to me because it would let me know that I'm doing a good job. All right. So the waffle stitch. Let's just go ahead and get started because I can't think of anything else to say. You came here for the tutorial. So the first thing we do is we're going to make a slip knot. Make a slip knot in whatever method you choose, and put that on your hook and tighten it. And I'm using an unbanded, like one of those huge, like for comparison, I'll show you. See, this is the kind that you get at the store. And then Mary Maxim has some like 1 pound unbanded balls of yarn, cotton yarn, for I think it's like $9.99. You get a really good deal. I hope I didn't just I've got a bunch of stuff on the table. But anyway, it came in a bag like this, and there were 3 of them. So I am using one of those 3. So I believe it is a sugar and cream yarn though. And so I just wanted to tell you that. And I have no idea what color it is, but it looks like a nice light purple or lavender. With the waffle stitch, we do a multiple of 3 plus 4, okay? So what I'm going to do to make my dish rag is I am going to do 18 stitches plus 4 would make 22 stitches, all right? So I'm going to chain 22, all right? And so all you need to do is to chain 22, and when I'm done, I will meet you in just a second to do the tutorial for the first row. All right, so I have my multiple of 3 plus 4 now on done, and like I said, I made 22 stitches for this dish rag, okay? So the very first thing you do, and this is not part of the pattern, this is the this gets you set up so that you can start doing the pattern, okay? And that is you are going to double crochet in the second chain from your hook. So that's not this one, but this one, okay? I just want to make sure you guys can see that. You're not going to go into that loop. You're going to go into this one right here, the second loop from your hook. And you're going to double crochet, and that is yarn over, put your hook inside of that stitch, pull through, and now you have 3 loops on your hook. Then you pull through 2, Okay, and then you pull through 2 again, and that is a double crochet. And what you're going to be doing is you're going to double crochet all the way across. Okay, and it, you know, the very first row is always the hardest, and this is a new yarn that I'm working with. Like, it's, I mean, I just took it out, and I don't know if the $9.99 pound of cotton is like Millens or what, but it feels a little bit different from the cotton I usually use, so I just wanted to mention that. So yeah, you're going to end up double crocheting all the way across, okay, until you get to this final to the final stitch, and I will go ahead and do my row all the way across with double crochets in each stitch, and you go ahead and do that, and I will see you back here in just a second. All right, so I am done double crocheting all the way across, and at this point, you know you have the right amount of stitches, and I know some of you are like, where are the stitch markers? And I'll show you here. If you count all of your stitches, plus this turning chain here, okay, you'll find that you'll have the amount of the multiple of 3 plus 2 now on your as your piece. Okay, so in my case I have 22 stitches counting this turning chain right here. Okay, so I just wanted to make sure that you understand that that is actually going to be treated like a stitch in this one. Okay. And the reason that is because we need a multiple of 3 to do the pattern, and then there's one on each side that will then form that kind of like a border around it, so that it looks all nice and neat. Okay, so that's why we're doing that. So the beginning of row 2 starts with a chain 1 and turn. Okay, so you double crochet into this first stitch right here. All right. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to push that stitch forward, right? By going in, and instead of going into the top of the stitch like we usually do, okay? We're going to go behind the stitch, okay? Or behind the post, okay? And it's called a front post double crochet because you're pushing it to the front, okay? So you're going to push that loop to the front by going underneath it, and you're going to double crochet. So you yarn over, that just means putting the yarn over your hook. You go behind that stitch, then you pull a loop around that stitch and up, and you pull through 2, okay, and then you pull through 2 again, and that's your first front post double crochet of the stitch. So remember that multiple of 3? Well, the pattern goes in sets of 3. So this is your first thing you do, which is the front post double crochet, and then you double crochet as normal in the next 2 stitches. So what you're doing is that you have this stitch that's in front here, and then 2 stitches that are a little bit back from it. Okay, the next pattern repeat is that we do that front post double crochet, and then you go into the next 2 stitches, and remember there's going to be a stitch behind that front post double crochet that's the stitch you did not work into. Don't worry about that, it'll all even out just fine. Okay, so you're going to then do a double crochet in the next 2 stitches again, just like normal, and then you do that again by doing the front post double crochet, and then working into the stitch with a regular double crochet twice. And you're going to continue to do that, front post double crochet and working into the stitch and then double crocheting twice until you get to the end. I'll see you there. All right, guys, so I'm here at the end of the second row, and I've done the repeat of the front post and then 2 doubled, front post, 2 double, all the way across, and I have one more stitch remaining. And I know that this is a turning chain, and I've warned about not treating turning chains like regular stitches, but we're always going to begin with a double crochet and end with a double crochet. So remember that multiple of 3 plus 2. Well, you go into this turning chain here, and you put another regular double crochet there, and that way you have the, like I said, that border around it that looks real nice. All right, so now we're at the end of row 2, and this is going to be your pattern repeat. So row 2 is going to be your first row, and then row 3 is going to be your second row, and you're going to alternate between those as we go on. So for this one, we're going to chain 2 and go right back into that stitch that we just made and double crochet into that. Okay. Next, you see how when you turn, the pattern changes. Okay, so these now are so here, I'm going to get a different hook to show this to you so I can kind of point with that. So these two are actually kind of pushing out on this side, and this one is pushing forward on this side. So we just change that pattern just slightly for the what's called the wrong side. This is considered the wrong side of the fabric, while this is going to be considered the right side. And how you do that is you front post double crochet to pull that back even further from the front, or push it forward if you want to look at it like that. Then you do that again. So you do 2 front post double crochets, and then you do a regular double crochet at the top of the front post double crochet from the second, or from the second row, or from the row before it. Okay, and then you're going to repeat that 2 front post double crochets. Okay, and 1 regular double crochet. All right, and so we're going to continue to do that on row 2 of the pattern, or on row 3. We're going to front post double crochet on those stitches that were pulled back, and we're going to just do a regular double crochet on the stitch that's pulled forward. So it's going to be front post double crochet 2, double crochet 1, and then you just keep repeating that until you get to the very end. All right, I will meet you there. Alrighty, guys, so I am at the end of row 3, and I have ended the pattern of 2 front posts and 1 double, and with my 1 double crochet, and then I have 1 more stitch left. And just like at the beginning of the second row, we're going to double crochet, so that a double crochet is again the first and last stitch that you do when you do the stitch pattern. So now we're going to chain 2 and turn, and you will start seeing just how much definition this has. These front posts double crochets from before are now pushing out like so much more, right? And the back posts, or the regular stitches, are now going behind a whole lot. So that's why this is called the waffle stitch, because it ends up making what looks like a waffle. So we're going to yarn over and double crochet. That's how we start every row in this pattern. And like I said, this is a 2-row repeat, so I'm going to repeat 2 more rows with you guys, just to make sure you have it down. And what you do on the first row of the repeat is that you front post double crochet around the second stitch, because you double crochet in the first. And then you go into the two that look like they're pushed behind, and then you double crochet 2. Okay. Then you front post double crochet into this stitch right here. It's a 3-stitch repeat, so it's a front post double crochet, and then you double crochet twice. Then you repeat that all throughout the whole row, just like we did in that second row. Another front post double crochet, and then 2 regular double crochets. And remember, when you do the front post double crochets, there's going to be a stitch in the back where that front post double crochet was. That's normal. You're supposed to do that so that you don't add stitches as you go. And it should be pretty easy to tell where you're supposed to do the front post double crochets and the regular crochets at this point, because the texture should be guiding you pretty well at this point. And if your work doesn't look as textured as, let's say, mine does, then all you have to do is go back and watch it again and keep practicing, because seriously, it's not going to bother me if you do that. And that's what this tutorial is for, you know. So you know, when you're learning in person, sometimes it can be difficult to ask questions because maybe you don't want to irritate your teacher or something like that. But with these tutorials here, oh my goodness, look at that. You know what they call that when you're pulling through the yarn like that and this big clump comes out? They call that yarn barf. That sounds kind of gross, but I read that earlier today and I thought that was so funny. I am not a very social person. I have autism. So when I read that, it was like I had never heard anybody refer to it like that. So I was so confused. I was like, oh my gosh, yarn barf. It really does look like that though. Anyway, I think I just took care of it. All right. Anyway, so you're making this texture basically, and so it should be your guide, you know, and you know, just I think that I was talking about the positives of being able to watch tutorials, and I mean, you can pause me, you can slow me down, you can speed me up and listen to me talk differently if that's your thing. And you know, I'm not gonna complain about that. So you can be as assertive as you like, without worrying about hurting my feelings. But I can say that I'm not very easily offended. So some people think I should be more easily offended, which is kind of funny. But anyway, so I went ahead and just talked to you and ran my mouth for this whole time. So now we are on our very last stitches for the row. So I'm going to go ahead and lead you to the end of this row. So I just, again, I did the front post double crochet and then the 2 regulars, like I do on this one. And then I did that all the way till I got to the end. And now I'm going to put that last double crochet that's the first and the last in the pattern in this last stitch. Okay, really starting to show some definition now. And now I'm going to chain 2, turn my work, and this is the second row of the repeat. All right, just like I said just a minute ago, we are going to put a regular double crochet in that first stitch. All right, so after you double crochet into that first stitch, you'll do 2 front post double crochets and then 1 regular double crochet, okay? So we are going to push these forward to the front by front post double crocheting in them twice. And by the front, I mean what's facing you. And this is the wrong side of the pattern. The right side is when you look at it from this side. Okay, so we're going to continue to do that across the row. So 2 front posts, 1 regular double crochet. Okay, so I'm going to do that one more time. 2 front post double crochets, Okay, 1 regular double crochet. Again, when you're doing those front posts, you're going to skip those stitches, okay, on that other side, so you don't add stitches. 2 front posts, one regular. Again, I'll just go ahead and complete that part, and then I will meet you at the end after I've worked up my whole work, because I think you guys will be ready to keep going after that. And if you're not, if that makes you feel a little bit nervous, go ahead and just start watching again from the beginning. You'll be fine. So here we have the waffle stitch dish rag, and for those of you who didn't know, I do have a giveaway going on right now on the channel, so find that video and leave a comment. You've got to watch it to the end so that you know what you're supposed to do. You have to like it and leave a comment, okay? But yeah, I'm gonna have the drawing pretty soon, so make sure that you get into that while it's still open, and I will see you later on with another stitch tutorial. All right, see you soon. Bye bye.